very sweet. Okay, everyone. So just settle into a nice, comfortable seated posture. And while you're doing that, try and think what it is that you might be doing or thinking or need to do if you were given a prognosis of a few months left to live. Like, how would your life change? And, you might be like Kimberly, who's already been in a lot of pain and having a medication managed. So her life is already changed considerably over the last few years since she had her COVID vaccine. But say you're walking around like we are now and you get a prognosis, and some people do, how would you think about your life? Like, what would be your priority? So you don't have to answer it right away, but just spare a thought, because I think it's very, very rare and very precious to have someone in our community that's so happily sharing their process of going through an illness and knowing what your life is going towards. And this is so incredibly precious. Actually, Kimberly, Venerable Rabina says it's one of the, it's an excellent thing to be given, almost like be given a date, because you get to prepare. Not everybody gets to prepare. So feel the sensations of your feet in the floor, the weight of your sits bones in your chair. And for Judith, she probably feels the whole of her back and her pelvis. She's lying. Her PT says she has to sit up until 4. No, she's allowed to sleep until 4, and then she has to get up, and she's not allowed to go to bed till 8 o'clock. So they're keeping her on her toes, so to speak, even at 92. So align your shoulders with your hips and lengthen your spine, and imagine this spine is this beautiful string of pearls of light. Put some space in between those vertebrae, and then go to the crown of the head. And we've been chatting, so I'm running a little late now. And just release any tension in the body, from the face all the way down to your toes. So just relaxing and lengthening. And notice the sensations of the breath in the nostrils, the thoracic cavity, the belly. And be aware of sounds in your environment, and just allowing those sounds to be there. Trying not to follow with the mind. And then notice what's in the mind this evening. And so I was talking with Judith over dinner about our mind, and Judith was saying how amazing it can be. The mind changes from total bliss to total disaster within a 24-hour period. 1 minute very happy, then the mind goes down, then the mind comes up. So in many respects, you can actually breathe through any instability. But just put some space in between the thoughts. And just be curious about what's there without judgment. And then bring to mind all those people of your life, all your loved ones, your strangers, the ones you don't like, knowing that they're interchangeable, these relationships, and they're all equal. They all have this wish to be happy, to be free from suffering. They all want to be free from suffering, and they all have this extraordinary capacity for a Buddha mind. So we'll do this meditation this evening for all these people of our life, and by extension, all sentient beings. You know, we got Kimberly there with in a small ward of other people who are experiencing similar in palliative care. All the people in this building here, where I am with Judith and Timothy, who passed away, I think last week. Then our Venerable Ingrid, who passed away recently. So anyway, and Amy, so just so many people, right? So just try and dedicate for as many people as you can fit in your brain. And then think there is no negativity that we can't purify. And this purification process is basically a psychological one. And we create negativity with our mind, so we can change it by creating positivity instead. So we start with the power of regret. And so just regret from the depths of your heart anything you have done to harm any living being on this day, in this life, and in all of our past lives. And you can think of specific actions that you may have done with your body and your speech, and then in general, regret all. And the reason to regret is based on this logic of karma. So if we cause suffering, cause and effect. We cause suffering, suffering will come very happily back to us. So we don't want any more. So logically, it makes sense to pull out the seeds of past negative actions before they ripen as future suffering. So think like this. I regret from the depths of my heart having harmed others with my body and my speech, and having broken my vows, because I do not want this future suffering. And so just regret all of your delusions, anger, attachment, ignorance. So I think now we come to this power of reliance, because who am I going to turn to? Where do I get advice? And so we think about Vajrasattva as a doctor who's got the methods that we can use to purify. And we're not needing Vajrasattva to forgive us. We're purifying ourselves by relying upon his methods. So you imagine Vajrasattva above the crown of your head, this beautiful white light body. He's also the mind of your teacher, manifesting in this form for your benefit. And he's made of this beautiful, blissful, radiant white light. So I won't go through all the visualization because we're really running out of time now. So just imagine this Buddha. He does have his left arm crossed under the right. The left is holding a bell. The right is holding a vajra, and their being crossed represents enlightenment, infinite wisdom, infinite compassion. To the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha, I go for refuge until I'm enlightened. By this practice of meditating on Guru Vajrasattva, may I reach Buddhahood so as to benefit all sentient beings. And so now we have a little section on developing compassion. And in order to develop compassion, we need to rely upon other beings, the very beings we have harmed, and those beings who have harmed us, by developing compassion for them. So think particularly of people you've harmed recently and in the past, and then in general, all beings we've ever harmed since beginningless time. And then think about those who have harmed you and have compassion for them, because the harm they've caused you is going to result as suffering for them in the future. So now we come to the power of remedy, and we start with the body. And Vajrasattva very compassionately sends powerful white nectar, like coming out of a hose, quite forcefully from his heart. And it arcs around and enters your crown and pours into your entire body, filling you completely. And it keeps pouring into you until it forces out of your lower orifices all the harm you've ever done to any living being with your body in the form of inky liquid, and this pours out of you and disappears into space, not one atom left, as we recite the mantra. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Drita Meboa Sutukaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hom Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajra Mami Mutta Vajra Bawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hom Pe Am Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Drita Meboa, Situkaya Meboa, Sipokaya Meboa, Anarakta Meboa, Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me, Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hom Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan, Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hom Pe, and Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya, Vajrasattva Dinapatita, Drita Meboa, Situkaya Meboa, Sipokaya Meboa, Anarakta Meboa Sawa Sidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hom Ha Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hom Pe Am Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Drita Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawa Sidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hom Ha Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hom Pe Am Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Drita Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawa Sidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hom Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hom Pe Am Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Drita Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawa Sidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hom Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hom Pe Am Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Drita Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawa Sidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hom Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hom Pe. So be delighted that all the harm you've ever done to any sentient being with your body is now completely purified, and think there's no way you could do anything but benefit others now with your body. And next is the purification of our speech. And imagine Vajrasattva very happily sending powerful nectar from his heart chakra, and it arcs around and quite forcefully enters your crown and fills your entire body, except this time forcing up to the top of your body all the negativity of your speech, and this overflows and disappears into space, not one atom left. So you imagine all the gossip, the harsh speech, the negative speech, useless speech, lying, talking about people behind their backs, getting other people to agree with you. All of this is purified by this powerful nectar filling you as we recite the mantra again. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Drita Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hom Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hom Pe Am Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Drita Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hom Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hom Pe Am Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Drita Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hom Pe Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Trida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anorakta Meboa Sabasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hom Pe Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Drida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anorakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hom Pe Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Drida Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anorakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hom Pe Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Trida Meboa, Situkaya Meboa, Sipokaya Meboa, Anorakta Meboa, Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me, Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hum Pe. So again, feel so happy that your speech is now completely purified, and imagine it's not possible to do anything other than benefit others with your speech. And next is this purification of our mind. And Vajrasattva very compassionately sends powerful beams of light from his heart chakra, and this arcs around and enters your crown and fills your entire being. So imagine you walk into a room, you flick on the switch, it's dark, and the light that comes instantly dispels the darkness. So the same here, the moment the light from Vajrasattva's heart hits your heart chakra, all the darkness of the negativity of your mind, so attachment, neediness, bitterness, and maybe unnecessary regret and anger, self-criticism, all of this instantly dispelled, not one atom left as we recite the mantra again. Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Drida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anorakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hom Pe Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Drida Meboa, Situkaya Meboa, Sipokaya Meboa, Anorakta Meboa, Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me, Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hom Pe Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Drida Meboa, Situkaya Meboa, Sipokaya Meboa, Anorakta Meboa, Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me, Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hom Pe Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Drida Meboa, Situkaya Meboa, Sipokaya Meboa, Anorakta Meboa, Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me, Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hom Pe Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Drida Meboa, Situkaya Meboa, Sipokaya Meboa, Anorakta Meboa, Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me, Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hom Pe Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dina Meboa, Situkaya Meboa, Sipokaya Meboa, Anorakta Meboa, Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me, Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sata aham pe. Ambajrasafa samaya manupalaya vajrasafa dina patita. Drida meboa, sitokaya meboa, sipokaya meboa, anorakta meboa, sawa siddhi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me. Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ah Hum Pe. So be delighted that all your delusions, which are the source of all of our own suffering and the cause of why we harm others with our body and our speech, are completely purified. They're gone. There's nothing left, and there's no space in your heart now for anything other than love and kindness, forgiveness and wisdom, and bliss and compassion. And next is the purification of even the imprints of negativity of our body, speech, and mind. So imagine Vajrasattva very happily sending light and nectar. So the nectar flowing down, purifying body, nectar flowing up, purifying speech, and then the light coming and purifying all the delusions. So this happening simultaneously as a final sweep and eradicating even the subtlest imprints of negative energy from your mind. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya vajrasattva dina patita jida meboa situkaya meboa sipokaya meboa anarakta meboa sawasidi mempi yatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuru hum ha 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 ho bhagawan sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sata a hum pe vajrasattva samaya manupalaya vajrasattva dina patita Jida meboa, situkaya meboa, sipokaya meboa, anarakta meboa, sawasidi mempi yatsa sawa kama sita me, sitam shriyam kuru hum ha 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 ho bhagawan, sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sata a hum pe. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya, vajrasattva dina patita, Jida meboa, situkaya meboa, sipokaya meboa, anarakta meboa, sawasidi mempi yatsa sawa kama sita me, sitam shriyam kuru hum ha 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 ho bhagawan, sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sata a hum pe. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya, vajrasattva dina patita, Jida meboa, situkaya meboa, sipokaya meboa, Anorakta meboa sawasidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuru hum ha 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 ho bhagawan sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sata a hum pe. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya vajrasattva dina patita Drida meboa situkaya meboa sipokaya meboa anorakta meboa sawasidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuru hum ha 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 ho bhagawan Sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sata a hum pe. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya vajrasattva dina patita. Jida meboa, situkaya meboa, sipokaya meboa, anorakta meboa, sawasidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me. Sitam shriyam kuru hum ha 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 ho bhagawan. Sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva a hum pe. So now feel completely purified. There's not one atom of negativity left in your mind stream. Even the subtlest obscurations to your enlightenment have been removed, all those subtle obstacles. So now we come to the power of resolve, really important step, because here we make a decision to refrain from harming. So first of all, rejoice in your efforts for coming along here. Now, for some of you, it's been a lot more difficult to get here and to stay awake than for others. So just rejoice in the effort and rejoice in those who it's been difficult for, for Kimberly and anybody else on the East Coast, even you guys in the middle of the country. It's very late. So rejoice in your efforts. And then think of something you would like to work on between now and tomorrow. And, something small, don't make it a big deal, just to try and start to tap into some of those habits that we have. And then imagine Vajrasattva is delighted with us, wants to merge with your mind and melts into white light and absorbs into you through your crown, and think, my teacher's body, speech, and mind, Vajrasattva's body, speech, and mind, and my own body, speech, and mind are the same. So next, Rinpoche would recommend to meditate on emptiness. So he would say, in emptiness, there is no I, the creator of negative karma. There is no action of creating negative karma. And there is no negative karma created. So at whatever level you understand emptiness, place your mind there. You can think of all phenomena as being empty. They do not exist from their own side. And you can also think that the way things appear to me may not necessarily be the way they actually exist. So let's just dedicate all the merit, all the positive energy you've created doing this practice to all living beings, and think, may all the virtuous karma I've created from doing this practice ripen as my enlightenment for the sake of sentient beings as quickly as possible. So let's just do, I'm sorry, you guys were a couple of minutes late. So let's just do our chanting the names of Manjushri, brandishing in their hands their mighty vajras, the tips of which emit intensive light, great benefactors to all living beings, through skill, through insight, and through great compassion. With pleased and happy attitudes, with joy, their bodies, those of wrathful deities, protectors who assist the Buddha's deeds, their bodies bowing reverently. Pay homage to the true awakened one, protector blessed one, Tathagata, and joining his two palms respectfully, he said before the Lord the following, and we get to find that out tomorrow night. Okay. It's like the end of a series. Okay, you guys. Lots of love. Take care. Strong wish for His Holiness the Dalai Lama to live long, for Lama Zopa Rinpoche to come back soon, and for all of your own precious teachers.